Okay, so let's do a brief explanation of what we're talking about on this Twitter space. You okay, Harles? We'll go in. We'll go in a minute. We'll go when I'm done. Let's do a brief explanation, and then I'm going to use my Twitter as a source of some tweets and some posts and some stuff and things. All right. So, here we go. MGL FR drama, and which of course means Molly Golightly fundraiser drama. I can't. You only have a very short amount of space for a title, so yeah. Versus critique. Lobster GoFundMe issue explained or explained, but I would have put issue in there if I could. And critique versus SJW drama, social justice warrior drama. Of course, I'm using the loose YouTube version of the word SJW. Okay. Now, let's start off with a brief explanation of the points. So the Molly Golightly fundraiser drama versus critiques. There are a few good critiques out there. I haven't seen a lot of them, but I'll give an example. I've been told that the Down the Rabbit Hole channel gave a critique over my conversation with Molly. And I had people who had watched it, and I talked to them, and they said that they felt that it was a good, actual critique, that they weren't lying or trolling or bullshitting or anything. So I do plan on taking those videos that attempt to critique me in how I handle things and responding to them when I do my video on Unirock 2. Of course, it'll be one of the videos. It'll be whatever video it relates to the most. You feel me? Hurry up. Hurry up. You're loud with your tapey stuff. So, it's not that it'll happen super quick, but when I get the video out, I'll do the critique. Because, yes, soon I'll be doing a video on me talking to Molly, showing some of the lies she told and the tactics she used, her trying to, take my subs and stuff, which was a very funny little play by her. I thought that's pretty entertaining and cute more than anything. You could obviously tell that she was trying to it was a joke meme dig at me, right? So that's what I mean when I say that I like Molly. If somebody tries to respond to criticism that someone's giving them and they end up doing something kind of shitty, like what Molly did, which was, of course, Goose and Molly and Justin were super nice to me, and then changed being super nice to me. I'd been super nice to them the entire time, of course. And then I was super nice to them after because they had been nice back. So, hey, we can be nice to each other and handle our issues. That is until right after they disconnect with me, they lie and try to set up a narrative and all that garbage that we saw, right? So what I'm trying to say is her response in there to her bad behavior being this little funny, I'm going to steal your subs thing, is entertaining. Whether it's cringy, whether it's right or wrong, it's definitely funny. And this is why I'll say to people, yeah, I like Molly's performative YouTube side when it's not malicious, when it's not nasty, when it's not the things I critique. Because I think a lot of people out there, and I don't know if Navy will agree with me on this or not, but they will not like somebody, or they'll get in an issue with somebody, and now all of a sudden everything that person does is bad or a problem. And you see what I'm saying? Which I find that completely disingenuous. There was a reason people subscribed to Molly or whatever. There's a reason people, liked the Lobster King years ago, back when people were trying to be nice to him. And if they lose the qualities that made them funny or whatever, that's fine. Then yeah, I'll admit that I don't like them, or I don't like the performative aspect of what they do on YouTube or whatever. If they don't, yet they're doing shitty things, I'll be real with everybody and tell you how it is. Got me? So I've noticed the criticism against me for the Molly thing all of a sudden is starting to shift. At first, it was almost like people bought into Molly's bullshit. And then when they heard me respond, they actually thought about what I said or fact checked the stream that we did. And then all of a sudden, they now agree with me instead of being angry with me. So if you do make a criticism video against me, maybe you hear my response on stream or something and you change your mind or you want to update your video, let me know, because I truly am going to try to respond to anyone that made, good, logical, or just funny or whatever criticism, regardless. You can be mean to me. You can make jokes on me. That's not how I dictate whether it's good criticism or not. It's whether you made good criticism. And if you want to do some skits and take little shots at me, I actually appreciate that more than anything. I don't know how people can still get it in their head that I feel the opposite, but the real reason we're here for the main part, though, has nothing to do with the Molly thing and all that. I just want to make sure that we talk about that during this space. So let's get on to like the main thing. Do you know where my headphones are, honey? I'm going to connect them because it's hard for me to hear Navy when I'm not. I got them. I found them. Navy. So we've got a little bit of an update to the Lobster squads. You know what? It's not going to matter that I connect my headphones now. I got to connect it before I start. So fuck it. Never mind. Yeah, we got a Lobster squad thing going on. So let's start with the beginning and then we'll go in. But you got anything you want to add in before we jump on this?
No, just on what you were previously talking about before you roll completely off. It's you're in trouble when you don't care to see the hypocrisy of what you support.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Very true. So we've got a tweet that I've done right here. All right. Okay. Now, here's how this came into today's drama. You ready? Oh, let me plug this back in. So, we have in front of us on GoFundMe, certain fundraisers will have this notification. Donations have been turned off because the charity connected to this fundraiser is no longer supported by our payment partner. Discover other charity fundraisers. You see that? Okay. It's on my Twitter. I always try to tweet some things that I can that are relevant to these things before we go. So if you want to look after, that's fine. While you're in a space, you can hit that down arrow and look at Twitter. You can look at my Twitter while you're in this space, just so you know. So, of course, in seeing that, we started to kind of, when someone came in and said, yo, did you see this? We were like, no, but let's look and see what's up. Everybody started to look around and fact check and stuff. Now, I was taking a break because it's Labor Day or whatever, and because I had an opportunity to play a little bit of Tarkov, and I've been pounding out the streams and the content, so I was chilling. So everybody else went and looked around, and we all ended up discovering that here's what's up. So both of Nuclear Stebenstein, the Lobster squad, litigious sewer guys, fraud raiser that he did for the DMCA, which was used to pay money for his NDA against Katie. Obviously, you can't do a fundraiser for your NDA. So he did a fundraiser for a DMCA strike that never would go to court, never went to court, and just ended up trying to basically, fraud raise his way into an explanation for what he did and keep the money from that. It made $4,200, I believe, or $5,000. His other one could have made $4,200. So then his other fundraiser is the one where he's suing Katie recently, and you guys know all of the issues there. So you heard me in my stream probably 5 days or a week ago or something talk about how I had sat down with a person that contacted me or, came to me, and they had told me that they had went and talked to several people who have some of an authority in this matter, and they couldn't really be specific with who it was. They didn't want to be. I didn't care. I didn't press them. And they said that that person and them made sure to go through every aspect of this current fundraiser, from Lobster God to Sue Katie. And by the way, he calls himself a god. I'm just being nice and using his own descriptors, his own pronouns, so you know. But so he came to me and said that they had looked at this whole thing and that there is an extremely easily observable thing, several that he did, that just make this an absolute fraud raiser. So at first they explained this to me and I'm like, I couldn't really see it. The reason was it was so simple. It was so simple. It's so easy. And I've been saying, I said on my stream once or twice, I know I posted to Twitter, that the Lobster God's fraud raiser is getting investigated, because that's what I've been told, obviously, and that it had been reported and that it had started to be investigated. And I was told that the reason why, and of the several, and the major reason, I've said that it's in the first, you listen to his stream where he started the fundraising of this, and then you go and look at the receipts he put out. There are obvious things that people see, but there's other shit that he said and done that just makes it absolutely fucked. One of those things, just to get a little specific, is that he did his fundraiser and put out receipts and admitted to it and tripled down, quadrupled down, and all that in a way that's against GoFundMe's terms of service, absolutely. And what he did was try to pay old legal bills with a fundraiser, which you're not allowed to do. He's not allowed to include those old legal bills. He's not allowed to go in and say, hey, these legal bills were for the same thing from a year or 2 years ago, and those legal bills are concluded in this fundraiser. He wasn't allowed to do it with his DMCA fundraiser. He's not allowed to do it now. He's gone so outside the scope of what GoFundMe's own terms of service state. He's got himself in some hot boiling pot of water, if you will. He just got dropped into a hot boiling pot of lobster soup, if you will. So when these warnings came up on his fundraiser, we read the warnings, we looked on the internet, we looked and saw like what it's saying, what does it mean, all that stuff. We looked at other fundraisers that have it, we looked at fundraisers that don't, we narrowed down. Obviously, some people will say, yeah, I think it's a coincidence that a person with the authority to actually get an investigation going against these fraud raisers went and got an investigation going against these fraud raisers and claimed that they did and proved that they did, or they said that they did with good reason to believe them, right? And just within an X amount of day window, now both of his fraud raisers have this notification. Now, some people are pointing out that, that type of notification comes up on other fundraisers, and, that is this because he turned off donations or shut it down? There are many other fundraisers out there that have had them turned off and shut down that don't show that. And from what we're reading and seeing, that says, again, I'll read it. Donations have been turned off because the charity connected to this fundraiser is no longer supported by our payment partner. It doesn't say that donations are turned off because the person turned it off. It doesn't give you a notification when that happens or any of those other things. So I don't find it to be coincidental personally. That'd be like, and I gave an example that I think really works, and then I'll shut up and let Navy talk. But I gave the example of you go to YouTube, you go to a channel, and you go to open it, and it says this channel has been blocked. You find out that 6 days before they did a video where they did stuff they weren't supposed to do, and it's pretty obvious what happened in that situation. So again, you can get like notifications from YouTube when a channel's down that may mislead you or something or whatever. So you get what I'm saying in that. You get what I'm saying in that example. So I don't want to ramble without giving Navy an opportunity to talk. What do you think, Navy? What do you think about everything so far? What do you want to throw in there?
Well, so this is the first time I've seen these kind of like messages pop up anywhere. So I know y'all were looking into it a little bit earlier when I was busy doing some stuff. But the thing is that we know that the way he words stuff is in such a manner that you can definitely tell that he's using this for other means than what he is asking for. And so I hope that it is getting investigated. I hope that they keep him from getting back on GoFundMe ever again to run these stupid fraud raisers, because that's really all it is. And if that's what this notification means, then thank the Lord.
I agree, because I think it's actually, I think that whatever the reason is, I personally, having some experience with him, believe he's losing his ever-loving mind as he gets older due to his bad decisions he's made in his life. But who knows? I think that he's losing his shit. And him having access to fundraising platforms and being encouraged to fundraise by people like he's been is atrocious. I think it's literally going to lead him towards disaster. He's going to get in a lot of trouble because he is just a skeezy, scammy person. He thinks he can go in and word things however he wants. And if he words it just the right way, he thinks he can argue like that he didn't lie, that he didn't fraud, that he didn't skis. And again, that's not how the basis of someone doing those things. That's not how you determine it. You determine it by their intent. What do they intend to do? What did they do? Does this keep happening from this person? Because if it does keep happening, that person would realize, I'm not verbalizing things properly. I'm not telling people the truth about what I do. I need to start being more specific. I need to start being more honest, right? They don't go around saying semantic, crazy arguments, centering in on certain words that they've used, and then say, I didn't do anything wrong. Because if that's the case, you could argue literally any shitty action against another person as being right if you could do that. You just can't do it. You get me? So I completely agree with you. Absolutely.
And the thing is, we know that he lied, because what did he say leading up to this? I don't care what happens. I'm going to pursue the reason I'm asking for this money, right? I'm going to pursue it 100%. And what did he do? He absolutely 100% did not pursue it.
Oh, yeah. Well, did he pursue it? When he didn't pursue it, was it because of his own choice? Yes. When he told you that he was going to pursue it no matter what and used all of those excuses and reasons, was that his choice and intent? Yes. He lied. He lied. Whether or not he will ever admit it doesn't matter. Whether or not he will sit and try to do this just, what do you call it, desperate thing he's doing, where I guess somebody did some kind of video or stream where they were complaining about me, right? And it could have been valid, or it could have been someone trolling. I don't know. I don't know at all. I'm not going to make a statement to that. But he was in the fucking the live chat, and he was sitting there. What did he say? I retweeted it. Hold on. I'll go ahead and read what he said, because it's fucking hilarious that he still does. He's a creepy little fucking lobster, bruh. Once he gets dropped in a boiling pot of water, he likes going around lying on people who he doesn't like. So he's a creepy little lobster. So he goes in and says, hold on. I'm going to make sure I got the first one here. He says something like, I don't think I tweeted it. It was in general. He said, here, I'll just summarize it for you. I have secret information or secret, he didn't say evidence, but he said some kind of information. Oh, inside. I have it right here. I never claimed I was, but I have inside information on these people. If anyone actually wants to know about the topic, if no one else knows firsthand, correct? And of course, that's just him being as skeezy and attention grabby as he possibly can, which he does anytime someone who he doesn't like starts to work. Everybody knows I was chilling for a while there. Started working again, and of course he was ignoring me when I was just playing games. But the minute I start taking things seriously and I get back into doing what I do, now I'm a target of his again, because he's got to try to grab that clout. You got to try to get that, he wants to goad us into an exchange with him. The only way he's going to goad us into an exchange is by doing fraud raisers. Maybe if he does some other really extreme internet behavior, but fraud raisers, they'll get the job done. But if somebody comes back and says to him, Steve, nobody cares about your bullshit. That's why you constantly offer interviews and say you have inside info if they contact you, and no one ever does because no one cares about your bullshit. KJ does enough crap on her own. That's why no one cares. So how did he respond to this person saying this? Sloth, you are blocked now. Bye. He, unlike us, he can't handle criticism. We face the criticism head on. We talk to you about it. We let you tell us how you feel. We encourage it. He, on the other hand, can't handle it at all. Then he says, rumor has it Letitia is going to take legal action. Ooh. Of course, I would assume, what do you think, Navy? Do you think he's watched any of our streams, or do you think he's ignoring them? He is my third highest viewer when it comes to Streamlabs, rocks, and stuff.
Well, I mean, you're becoming, so honestly what's happening is you're becoming like the last thing he can go after. Again, right? Because everything else he tries to do fizzles out to shit.
Yep.
And so, I mean, you're the last thing. And then I've never seen somebody beg so many different content creators to let him on or talk to him. Please come talk to me. I have all the evidence in my life. Like, it's pathetic.
Oh, it's so desperate. It's pathetic. It's he sits and says he's not about drama and clout, and he doesn't care about views and all this. Well, again, just like with your promises and your fraud raisers and everything else about you, your actions say otherwise. So, sorry, I'm going to go with how you act. Ain't going to go with the words that come out of your lobster mandibles, if you will. Man, those lobsters got some creepy mandibles. So anyway, do I believe that the notification, here's what I know about the notification on his fundraiser. Number one, it can be there for multiple reasons. It can be because it's a notification of what? A very basic thing. A payment partner no longer supporting this charity connected to this fundraiser. Which, what is the charity connected to this fundraiser? That tells us that, one, that could be the default message from GoFundMe. That doesn't mean he filed this as a charity organization doing a fundraiser, though he could have. So it's possible he filed this as a charity organization. GoFundMe, due to a reason, has said, our payment partner made the decision to not support the charity connected to the fundraiser. But you can't take that as fact, because these are automated notifications that are posted to the GoFundMe. Therefore, it is possible that he filed this just as a fundraiser, but GoFundMe is using a copy pasta kind of notification that's like goes for everyone on the platform, and it just says that about charities connected to the fundraiser. So again, does it mean he did that? No. But is it possible? Absolutely, due to the wording. So one thing though is we'll ignore whether or not he did that, because it's a different conversation. We're gonna figure out, what does the notification actually mean? It means that the payment partner no longer supports the fundraiser. That's what it means, for whatever reason. If he filed it as a charity, it no longer supports the charity connected to the fundraiser. If he didn't file it under a charity, it means they no longer support the fundraiser. So the payment partner that GoFundMe uses no longer supports him when it comes to not just his lawsuit against Katie, but also his lawsuit for the DMCA one, and his other, I would assume any future fundraiser he'll make, they won't support him, because with both of his fundraisers saying that, and yes, we went and checked, people that disable their donations, people that shut down their fundraisers, there are many of them that do not have this message on it. We looked. Got me? So again, I'm just telling you what's there and what it seems to be here, all right? Though, you'll say that you can't say that because he got reported by someone that had the authority to get in contact with people that could actually start an investigation, who claims to have done it, whether or not, because we weren't there when they did it, we got to take their word on it, but they came out and claimed that. I let you know that days later, mere 5, 6, 7 days later, this appears on both of his fundraisers. You'll say you can't say that thing is connected. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's logical that it is connected, because again, you know, these fundraisers have been there for a very long time, especially the DMCA fundraiser, and that was not on there a month ago. It wasn't on there the last time we looked at this 2 weeks ago, okay? So just so everybody's caught up, I find, I'm not coming here saying that the notification on his fundraiser is the reason why everybody's looking at this and going, holy shit, that he's being investigated. It's because of several reasons. So let me give all of those reasons concisely at once so that people aren't confused. There's only a few. It'll be quick. But Navy, don't let me ramble. If you want to jump in, do it.
No, I will.
Okay. So, number one, like I said, the person came to us, went to many other people, talked to them, and went and reported it, and with the intent to start an investigation, with the ability to get an investigation started, and claimed to have done that. Number two, Cheshire went live and told her feet pick simps to report the fundraiser. It was on her channel. I think it's still there. Feet pick simps are very dedicated, not to Cheshire, to her feet. And because her feet are connected to the same body that includes her mouth, when she told them to report it, they put both of their feet up right by their keyboard. They spread their toes out and started typing with their feet to report the fraud raiser. If you didn't know, that's how feet pick simps report things. They type with their toes. Some of them put the keyboard on the floor. Some keep it on the desk. They're a weird bunch. So Cheshire's feet pick simps, number two, that was pretty good. I'm going to have to use that in the future. Number two, they reported the fraud raiser. Number three, T-Spiracy had Nate the lawyer and Uncivil Law on, and they broke down why he ripped everybody off, why he lost, why things happened as they did. They even broke down the receipts and explained how he had broke terms of service. And many people that donated to this, these fundraisers, were in the camp of Cheshire in the feet pick camp, or the normal people camp of T-Spiracy's audience, because it's the anti-cater camp. People watch T-Spiracy who are in that camp. She was in a lot of the dramas back in the day. She continued reporting for a long time, so you know that. One of the other reasons that this is, somebody will say, so let me handle this now, but there's not been a bunch of refunds granted to the GoFundMe. There's only been like a handful of refunds granted to the GoFundMe. If people had reported this, wouldn't there be more refunds? The answer is no. Now, because they have doxed people, attacked people, and threatened people, just like other stories we've covered, it's a very common tactic with these things to protect what they're doing, who had criticized them, called them out, been part of audiences where they've watched people that criticize them, and because of that, it's very likely that feet pick simps or caters who do not want to be targeted and doxed and have their personal information they gave when they donated to the fundraiser let out, it is very likely that they will not ask for a refund right away. That they will go in and file a report, make sure that they've had time for everything to kind of like get rolling. Then they'll contact investigators and ask anonymously, I want an anonymous refund. I don't want them knowing I refund, or they will dox me. They will come at me. So in these kind of situations, you will see a large number of reports, even compared to a small number of refunds that are given. And we don't even know if GoFundMe is locking down everything, because they could have a plan to refund the entire fraud raiser very soon. So they could say, hey, within about a month or within a few weeks, we'll know if we have enough to be able to refund this entire situation. So instead of giving out a bunch of refunds in between then and now, we'll wait until we've made that decision. If we do refund everyone, it's done in one go. If not, we'll get the people who are asking and help them individually, right? So that's a possibility also. So I do think it's very logical, very likely that it's being investigated and that there will be a good outcome for the people who've donated. That's my opinion there. Do you agree, sir?
I hope so. I really do. I hope this is what happens. I hope they get their money back. And I hope that he's finally made an example of what not to do pretty much anywhere.
I mean, I agree with
Because it's
you.
getting sick.
I do hope also, but I'm not saying that I know what's going to happen, right? For all we know, they could investigate him and say, yep, there's nothing we could do. And then people can just ask for a refund and get it back through GoFundMe's guarantee and be done with this. If they want it, they can not. If they don't, they can just move on. So that's a good outcome too, right? A good outcome isn't just a person gets in trouble or not. For me, it's just the right thing happens, right? Or people have the opportunity to get righted if they want to be or if they're pursuing it. And the sad thing is that, you know, there's a lot of people who donate to these kind of things and then never click on back on the channel, or click on the channel months later and don't even know what's going on. So people that don't use YouTube that often, people that float by channels, that's the largest percentage of anyone's audience, are people who come and go and don't use YouTube all day, every day. So it's sad because, you know, there will be people that want refunds that would donate their money to organizations and charities and people who actually will do what they say they're going to do with the money. And they won't get the opportunity to even know what happened. It's really sad. Now, if all of these get refunded, that's a different story, right? Okay. So, is there anything that he's been up to lately that's slightly related that we want to talk about? I think I hit him going in and doing his greasy little thing where he tries to get people to listen to how he's such a victim of the evil Unirock, right? You'd think, you know what I do when I think somebody wrongs me on YouTube? Most of the time, if they're not just, you know, someone who's doxing and doing that kind of crazy shit, or if they're another creator, obviously, which is where you would run into this kind of situation, I'll do a video. I'll put up a video and I'll show the evidence. If there is contention out there of any kind, even if it's to a smaller degree, I'll still do a video. Now, he says that I'm one of his biggest enemies. I'm his biggest troll, and I control a troll army and all this garbage, right? Now, the problem is, it's much like the Molly Golightly situation. He will make claims and say things from here to kingdom effing come, okay? But never ever put out a single example of what he's saying. Never put out a clip. Never put out what he's talking about so that people can actually make up their mind. It's why he fails so hard. So I have done that when he attacked me, lied on me, doxed me, threatened me. All of these things I made videos about. Fraud raisers he's done, right? Remember all this? People kept telling me, "Oh, stop it." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm just having fun here. I think it's fun to actually show people how desperate, how far someone will go." So, of course, the same thing is happening with Molly. She's starting to go down that trail. Now, Molly's different because she's so frivolous. Her responses to people, the way she attacks people and slanders them and all that is very frivolous. Like, and what I mean by that, it's loose. It's a thing that she will do out of nowhere when she's angry, and then she'll be completely different here later on. Now, I'm not talking about when, you know, she's just finding out about a new part of the story that shocks her. That's just normal reaction. That's just normally how people react, right? Like the first time you find out that Letitia actually gave all the doxes to her little group there, and that they went after these people, you know, you're going to see it and go, "Holy fucking shit, that's fucked up, bro." The next time you see it, you're not going to be as shocked, right? And of course, some people out there will go, "Aha! So, you know, now you're motivated. Now you're saying something." And, you know, they play these little fucking drama games. And I think the thing that matters here, or the thing that you actually like can draw criticism from, is whether someone's holding the same opinion, whether they're actually holding to the same point and treating people the same way, right? So what I'm trying to say here is, with Molly's frivolous back and forth, at one moment I could be the worst person in the world, or Katie can be the worst person in the world, Dre can be the worst person in the world, not for something she's done, but just for being her, or just because of a lie she's told. And in the next moment, it could be completely fucking different for the same issue, not for different issues. So her being frivolous about it and silly about it and crazy about it, and then sometimes entertaining about it, doesn't do the kind of like, it doesn't have that obsession quality that the Lobster Man has. Maybe if Molly does it for years or something, it could. I don't see her doing that. I don't really find her doing that as much as she's not as much of a creeper or a window peeper as the Lobster Man. Are you feeling me? That's what I'm trying to say, in slang terms. So, yeah, go ahead.
So the difference is that he will whine and complain about being a victim all the time. And all these people are coming at me, and she's like the exact opposite. She will go after folk all the time, like
and victimize them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%.
No, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And but he's like the opposite. He's like, quivering in the corner. Oh no, they're coming at me again. Oh. He's crying and shaking and all this kind of stuff. And I'm the victim, and then she's just like wham blasting everybody. It's like,
Oh yeah, but then the next day she could be like not lamb blasting and more fucking passive. So I find it to be a more psychotic kind of response compared to the Lobster Man, who has a more obsessive kind. Both kinds are insane. Both kinds are let's say healthy, non-correct or whatever. But yeah, I get what you're on point 100%, man. Let's see here. There's a couple other points I wanted to make. We'll see if they pop up as we go. Oh, yes, I can refer to the title. So let me see. Oh, I just sold a fuel canister for 170,000 rubles, baby. All right, where in the fuck is Menace, man? I need him. I've made millions in rubles in an hour. Man, I wish he was with me. I couldn't carry all the loot back. All right. So MGL FR drama versus critiques. I believe we hit that to an extent. If we need to do more, we'll do it later. Lobster GFM explained. Critiques versus SJW drama. So have you noticed here, guys, that people out there that make these trolly kind of claims about the stuff that's going on? That go out, they'll do this thing where they post their conclusion. They post a conclusion, right? Though their conclusion, ironically, involves stating that someone else is making a conclusion, right? Well, you know what? Let's just do it. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. A great example of it. Of course, this is just one example. Let's use Trio Monkey. He says, now, remember now, Trio Monkey thinks that you can't talk about what he posts, right? Even if it's public. Because you're then the big bully creator attacking and putting down this innocent person. No, you're a creator, and you're using your Twitter that's connected to your YouTube channel to lie and play games. So I'm going to respond really quick and use you as an example. So he says, another good take. It's from someone who says Uni sells out to KJ again. Well, weird. I've never sold out to KJ. It seems like, how would that be a good take? Well, he's trolling. So, and then Trio actually adds what he thinks is a big gotcha, a big own, right? Maybe stop running on speculation and treating people wrongly on that is a good idea. Okay? Let me kind of break this into actual English. Maybe stop running on speculation and treating people wrongly on that, comma, is a good idea. Still not good English, but at least we know what he's saying here. So claiming we're running on speculation, we are running on speculation about the fundraiser. We've proven everything we've said about the fundraiser. The only thing that is speculation to any degree are things that we have no access to because of the inappropriate and wrong choices of the individuals running the fundraiser. It's out of our control completely, which is appropriate for us to then speculate responsibly, which we've done. There's nothing wrong with speculating responsibly. It's when you speculate by lying, speculate by making stuff up, or apply a completely illogical basis to speculation, right? If I'm telling you something is a fact when it is my speculation, then I'm wrong, and it could be defamation or something. As long as I'm up front and I'm telling you that it's speculation and why it's speculation, and as long as I'm not making it speculation when there are facts that can be checked, and again, there's not in this situation, how am I in the wrong? Well, I'm not, but this is an example of what I'm talking about in critique versus SJW drama. There are people out there that have critiqued me for how I talked to Molly and Goose and Justin. There we go. So those people, while I still haven't found an accurate or good take, and I'll explain that when I make my video, that's a completely different subject. Those people that are critiquing are actually giving not just their determination, but the reason why. They're giving you enough to be able to understand what they're saying. And you've noticed that, ironically, the people out there who claim that we are somehow in the wrong and all these things every time we do anything, right? Kind of like the people that go at Katie for the wrong reasons, the ones that lie on her when they could just be getting her for things that she's doing wrong, like every other normal person does, like I do. That's what I'm trying to talk about. So you notice that they're surfacing and they're, throwing their little fits and posting their posts because why? Because they are, they would be the example of the SJWs, not the critiquers, the ones that are doing what the SJW trio is doing. And trio is a massive SJW. That's my final statement there. But I'll let Navy comment or not, and we'll move on. So, and you'll find that tweet underneath my live. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
Well, and the thing is, and so once again, when someone posts this stuff, we've asked time and time again, you make these blanket statements that are vague and don't have anything particularly, defined in them. Give it an example. If you want to have your opinion be taken, even relatively close to being serious, then give an example. At this time, this is what happened. This is what I'm talking about. This is what my statement, means something. And if you're not going to do that, you might as well just shut up.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't want to shut up, but he wants to keep doing that, that's fine. He can look like a moron. He can be an idiot. He can be the thing he used to yell at other people for. And it's on his Twitter. You can just scroll down it. He'd get so pissed off that Steve would do exactly what him and a couple other people are doing right now. And they live in this comfort place where they think that because of a reason that no matter what they do, no matter how they conduct themselves, that we're not going to say anything because we're too good for that. Now, mind you, while they're claiming we're the worst people ever, right? They live under the comfort that we're not going to say anything. So I'm going to be sure to be very specific about why I'm saying something about him. Number one, he's a liar. He won't specify his issue. His issue has been debunked when he does these like vague claims. They're debunked quickly, and instead of him coming in and saying, no, this is why that you just debunked that, this is what I was saying, oops, I misspoke, whatever reason we could be charitable to give him in the world, just like the couple of people that hang around him. This is an exact example of what they all do. And then, though they're still right at the end of the day, and they're not trolling. No, they're not trolling. And it doesn't make them extreme hypocrites over years of stuff they've posted to the internet. No, why? Because there's a secret reason that they can't come out and tell you that makes them right. So the person who started his little campaign, we all know, feels like they were wronged because they were brought up on the internet, because they were talked about in relation to Nat. But what, again, why were they talked about in relation to that? It's kind of funky. It's almost like they were talked about because they injected themselves into the core of the story to the point where they negatively could have affected the investigation with their own admitted actions. All of it freely admitted all across the internet. Nothing that we're saying didn't come out of this person's own mouth. And by the way, we made sure to, with many other things that could be criticized, that they could be criticized for. We've made sure only to stick to the things that matter and try to respect anonymity or whatever you'd say about them. They're not anonymous, but, you know, respect them to their identity online. It's just that when you're dealing with liars and you're dealing with people that are just really weak, low-level trolls, this is what you get from them. So now let's bounce back to shit, man. I think we got everything other than just a little bit of the Lobster GoFundMe stuff. So let's jump back to the Lobster GoFundMe thing and we can just be done. And by the way, while we're talking, anyone else wants to talk, all you got to do is raise your hand. You don't have to. I get it. You know, a lot of people are doing shit and they're just listening. That's fine. I just want people to know that while they're in here, if you want to talk, you can raise your hand. It doesn't mean we'll let you, but if we recognize you, if you've been around the channel or something, we're most likely going to let you in, even if we don't recognize you. So, the biggest topic, the main topic at hand here, Navy, the whole thing that this is all based on, of course, is people lying and taking advantage of other people over charity. That's the biggest issue. You know?
Yep.
And it's funny that we brought up Trio, and it's strange because he cared a lot at one point about people not being ripped off by other people online. You know, it bothered him that people were doing that.
Yeah. 100%.
That's the thing here. That's what the drama usurps. Drama being the lies, the extended arguments, right? Like we're up here making our argument. The point is, all of the arguments have a resolution. Lobster Man can resolve his fraud raisers. He can resolve what he did wrong in those fraud raisers. We can update you until that whole thing is solved or it's over and then it's done and put to internet history. Just like with Molly's issue, or Letitia's issue, however you want to state the issue is there based on what you believe, right? The point that I'm making, though, is we're having people trying to jump up, and what they're saying is, oh my God, Uni's a bad person, so he can't logically break down these fraud raisers. He can't give his opinion on what's going on here. And then when people go, oh shit, what did he do? They're like, I'm not talking to you, or they throw a big fit or they run off. It's what Lobster Man's doing. It's what Trio's doing. And it's ironically what Molly's doing, even though she really doesn't know us, you know? Maybe it's just the easiest defense on the internet. Is that what it is, you know?
Yeah, it is pretty easy. Attacking people with, you know, vague assumptions and all this kind of stuff is very easy to do.
Yeah. It's easy. It's defamatory. It's intended to carry the conclusion and get people to believe the conclusion of what you're saying with no logic, no evidence, no reason, no common sense behind it whatsoever. Right? I mean, that's it. They want you. They have a desperate need. All of these people, it's why I brought them up in the same scope. They all have a desperate need for one thing, ironically, that they all share. And it goes outside what we do. It goes outside of what we look for. It goes outside of why we're on the internet, why we formed a community, why we formed a group, why we all hang out anyway, why we all get along, why we all want to be in the same community. What these people are doing factually is the opposite of everything we've done, every reason we've come together. We all might as well, if we were to act like them, just break the community up and go do something else. Because what they want is to be believed. That's what they want. Lobster Man wants you to stop asking questions. He wants you to stop bringing up evidence. He wants to call everyone liars, but then he wants to cry defamation when anyone takes the time to do those things on their stream, what I'm doing. That's what he typed into that chat. That I'm defaming Letitia. Defaming Letitia. It's just hilarious. It's just hilarious. But Molly wants to be believed. She wants to be believed that Letitia has a lawyer, but then she admits to us that she doesn't know if Letitia has a lawyer just a week ago. And now we know we've been lied to this whole time. Holy shit, it's almost like this entire community is built around people fact-checking, not believing bullshit, right?
Well, it's not that, you know, they should be believed, is that they should be believed blindly based on their word.
Exactly.
Right? It's not believe me because I can prove it to you. It's believe me because I've seen it, or believe me because I have secret evidence that I'm only going to share with certain people.
Yeah.
It's not like believe. It's one thing if you say believe me and let me show you why you should believe me because here's my evidence. Now believe me.
Sure.
It's believe me because all you have to believe me on is your faith that I'm a good person.
Give me a lighter.
That should be a red
Give me
flag.
that lighter. It is. It is a red flag, and it's wrong. It's what bad people do. It's what I'm not even I'm using Trio's own fucking logic, dude. It's what bad people do. This is what con men do. It's what liars do. It's what abusive people do. We're just we're finding out what we're doing in our own community. Thank God. We're finding out who the fakers are, who the liars are, who the people are that will be nasty and abusive and fucking negative and shitty to everybody. Not funny. They're not joking. They're not ribbing you because they're carrying a point and they like you or something. No, it's destructive. They don't want to be in the community anymore. They're pissed off because they ended up being wrong about a bunch of shit. And when that shit came around to bite them in the ass, and it turned out that while they'd been campaigning the entire time, Trio and these ironic, you know what's crazy, man? It was that all of those people in that group that were campaigning that the police arrest these people from the beginning. Guilty, guilty, guilty. You arrest them now. And all of us had to calm them down. No, you don't go out and dox them. No, you don't go out and attack them. No, you don't rush the process, because we're either going to figure out that the worst thing happened here and that's why they're acting like this, and there will be an investigation. Things will be righted to some degree. Or we're going to find out that they had a different reason for acting the way they did and they were lying about something else or something, or they're just literally insane. But either way, we're going to get to the conclusion. It just takes time. It's a waiting game. It's literally not profitable. It's not the most exciting content. It's not the best thing to do. It's why you don't get a lot of big super big streams on the laying out facts, responding methodically to these constant claims and lies, debunking things isn't the most exciting process, because it's literally the scientific method. That's what it is. So do you go out? Do you like to hang out with the scientists while they're sitting there taking their observations? No, it's boring as fuck, but you love reading the article when they're done, don't you? You get me? So, you know what it is? Another part of this is each of these people are clout chasing e-whores. All of them. They all share that in common. The people that we're talking about. So you got Molly, Trio, and you got fucking Steve. They all share that in common. Each of those people go out and try their ass off to fool people, lie to people, beg people. Every one of their things ends up leading to them attempting to get attention. Now, some of you will say that's not what happened with Trio. It is. He just did it behind the scenes. It was constant with him. He would be hurt that I didn't share his stream for him and I didn't pop in and say hi and bring the people in and all this stuff. And I was constantly having to try to do that on top of everything else I did. And I don't even fucking know why. I feel like I have a spoiled child that didn't, get the, whatever the fuck he dreamed he would get by having me do those things for him all the time didn't pay off, right? So I'm not doing that for people anymore. If anybody else wants me to do it, they're going to have to get their ass up on the stream. They're going to have to make a video. They're going to have to actually pay off, by doing something like what Rabbit Hole did. Like, I can respect the living fuck out of somebody criticizing me, even though I do believe they're wrong. They believe I'm wrong. I believe they're wrong. But in the end, am I going to fucking be mad at down the rabbit hole? And if that's the person, I think isn't that the person that made the video, Navy? Made one of the videos? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, down the rabbit hole. And actually, I thought it was good.
Okay.
I mean, whether or not you agree with their opinion, I thought it was really well put together, and I commented on
Good.
it.
Okay, good, great. I haven't watched it yet. I will when I do my video, but I'm taking your word on that, and I'm going to shout them out and say, that's what I'm talking about there. Somebody who actually puts work and effort, their opinion, how they feel into, the situation. Those are the type of people who deserve to be responded to, who deserve to have us go in and bomb their streams like Trio wanted by getting in there and typing a bunch of stuff and always wanting to share stuff and all that. Those are the people that are going to get it from now on. The ones that do the good content. I think it'll solve our little problem of having spoiled little fucking babies constantly crying that they didn't get what they wanted out of us while they were around, you know? Ironically, though, never helping with any content, only wanting shares, only wanting the easy stuff. So the tells were there the whole time. It's kind of sad. Either way, though, that's just criticism. Those are just my thoughts. You know what we should do? I want to actually peek in on Lobster Man before we get out of here. See if he's responded, because I have a feeling he's going to do one of two things. I think he's either going to stay dead fucking quiet on the fact of his fundraisers having an investigation, or he's going to lie about it completely. I don't think he'll come out and give any type of, good breakdown or honest, backed commentary. You feel me? Well, and see, the only thing I'm seeing from him, and I haven't seen this yet, even though it was done on August 30th and it's now September 5th. Do you believe Katie will lie under oath on the stand during the trial in 7M and or Chris Lee lawsuit? So, this is the most brainwashing bullshit I've ever fucking seen, doing a poll to ask that, it's just fucking gross. He's such a weird window peeping perv when it comes to Katie. Dude proposed to her, and if she says no, stop stalking her. She doesn't want you. You need to hear it from her and move on. Oh, and then he's retweeting, Katie is a victim, y'all. Don't forget it. And she literally knows, what would Jesus do? Steve says, not a single person with 2 or more working brain cells gives a flying F what this absolute moron has to say. Well, you're wrong, Steve, because there's a lot of really smart, really awesome people that support us and that care what we have to say. It's just a fact. It's just a fucking fact. There's a lot of people who care what we have to say. His entire sub base are full of idiots dumber than he is. Wow. That's a pretty bold statement considering the amount of people that are watching the show. What do you think about him saying that? Because he's literally talking about us, Navy.
Let's see. He's sad, pathetic, and jealous.
I agree.
And he's just real mad because nobody wants to talk to him. No one cares.
Holy shit.
He tries to retweet people. No one cares.
Oh my God. Do you know when he put that up? An hour ago. He put that up right around the time that I tweeted about his shit, his fraud raisers. So why is he, instead of just trying to insult all my subs, why isn't he actually responding to his fraud raisers being investigated? What the fuck?
I wonder.
So yeah, that's what he's done. He's done 2 tweets since we've tweeted all that stuff. The one is him commenting on my subscribers. The other is him making fun of Katie for being a victim, I guess. And then before that, it's just a bunch of him, shitting on atheists. Oh, hold on, wait. Here we go. Would you ever give Unitard even 2 seconds of airtime? He is in many ways worse than Katie. And that should tell you something, as you know how much I eternally loathe Katie Joy. You should have interviewed me. Well, this person didn't interview me. Oh, he tagged Molly. Oh, he's talking to Molly. Damn, he is jelly, bro. You're right. Holy fuck.
He is begging. He is begging for anyone, and I mean, fucking anyone to talk to him. He is just in his closet by himself. No one wants to talk to him, and he is just real super buddy.
Oh, look, one of his best buddies, Renell, says Uni sells out to KJ to gain favor with Molly and Justin. Yeah, so evidently Katie paid me again, that whole big narrative they all have been pushing. And she paid me the reason I let Katie pay me was to gain favor with Molly and Justin. How does that make sense? Like, I can't even fathom how. I'm thinking of our content over the last week. I don't even understand how any of that, like, Molly literally right after the conversation fucking just hated us and just flipped out and all this stuff. So damn, that's how bad Renell is at this, that, you know, within seconds of her uploading, you know, she gets debunked by Molly herself. Strange. And then he's just basically attacking Katie's looks. After that, he's got two pictures of Katie from her fucking wedding when she was pregnant with her kid, or right after she'd given birth to her kid, and then 2 pictures of her now. And his comment is, wow, look at how things started versus how they are now. No joke. That's what I just saw. You can go to and look for yourself if you don't believe me. So let's go ahead and give some commentary before we get off here about him making fun of her looks, him obsessing over her looks, perving over her looks. It's weird that he still does that all these years later, because that's how this all started, right? I think some of these caters forget that this all started with him saying disgusting sexual things to Katie. For a fact. Like, that's not even in contention. He doesn't even deny it, you know?
No, he actually it was on a live stream. He's like, I better not say this in, pre-production or whatever. We're not in pre-production when I say this.
Yeah.
Which means that you know what you said, bro.
Well,
you were
look,
there.
I'm not even talking about the famous incident, right? You recall that weeks before the famous incident, he had said so many disgusting sexual things to Katie that he was approached not just by Kyle, not just Shannon Q had heard him say this, not just Kyle had heard him say this, not just Katie, because Katie was there having him say the disgusting sexual things, but GE's wife, GE, just like with everything with him, when his beginning story was, hey, I know that I said I wouldn't do it again, but I don't remember doing it again, right? That's what he said. That was his excuse. He remembers doing it all the first bunch of times. He remembers his entire, non-sect base coming to him and saying, she's married. She does this with Kyle and GE because they're that close. You are not close with her at all. Stop it, or we're going to have to do something. He promises he'll never do it again. Now, Katie and him both had that issue that you just referenced happen after that. So let's just be clear here. This whole thing didn't start with what he calls a false accusation now, which what Navy referenced, there are live streams where he admits to saying those disgusting things to Katie. We've played those clips, so he has changed his story there too. But I think it's even more indicative that this isn't, like, he'll go out and pretend that this is a one-off issue that happened. It's this one-off thing that happened when Kyle walked away from the screen and Katie's lying on me. But if these people like Renell Smith and who are the others? I don't even know their names. Like, one starts with an A, like Embrasia or some shit. And then if these people who and EKC, who vehemently defend him on his sexual harassment issue with Katie, if they would just take a second to go back and look at what actually happened, look at what everyone said, look at what he said back then, what they have to do is ignore all of that, because if they did do that, it's a pattern of behavior with Katie that led to the issue that he now complains about so much. Now, I really shouldn't have to say this, but if you were a normal person listening, you would ask yourself, well, hold on. So are you saying that Katie's the only person this has ever happened with his entire life? And then it happened with Katie, and then the big incident happened, and now we're all the way here after this long harassment campaign he's ran against Katie. So that's all that happened, right? No, in fact, it was many women who had come out and proven by putting out the evidence that the same kind of thing happened to them. Now, what he'll do again is semantics, right? So he'll say he's never been accused of sexual harassment by anybody but Katie, because when those people came out, one of them was someone who had DMs with Steve, and he got pissed off and put out only their DMs and tried to attack them. And so they went out and put out the full DMs, which had a shit ton of sexual nasty stuff in it that anyone else would, any woman that had been through that kind of thing or anything would have a chance of calling it sexual harassment because of just how it was worded and how it was sent to her. So when people out there go out and say, oh yeah, he's done this a million times, he'll flip out and say that you're lying about him, when in reality, you're telling the fucking truth. This happened a million times with him. He just will classify those initial events as not the same as Katie. So therefore, right? You see, you following what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to say it. It's hard to say, but you get me? I think it shows a pattern of behavior. And the pattern is there.
Yeah.
You've got all of these different women who have had this problem with the sexual stuff, leading to these women saying, that's inappropriate. Don't do that to me. I'm in a relationship. I'm not interested in you, with Steve. Whether you call it sexual harassment or not, that is factual. He's admitted to this. He's flipped out about each of these scenarios, acknowledged each of these scenarios. In the past, the tweets are still public. If any of these people could actually do content, they'd know this. Then you have him doing the same thing that he's been doing for all this time to Katie. So then any normal person is going to say, well, does he have a history of, saying disgusting things publicly on stream to women, like what he said to Katie and others that they found inappropriate, that some women find appropriate or find permissible? Well, yes, there's at least 50 clips of him saying things that I mean this. Remember when you saw Molly talking to those men, right? Remember when she had these men calling in and they were like, that some of them had their wangs out and stuff like that, you remember that?
Oh, that was,
well,
God.
The stuff that Steve has said on his streams are so far beyond that it's hard to describe. Like, he describes gross sexual instances and processes to women that are on his streams while live about these things. So it's like we can go live and hear him do it, see how he does it, see how he, like, we could even go into streams where he first meets somebody and then watch him within an hour or two start to say these things to them. They end up coming back to his stream a week later, and now he's more comfortable and it goes further and further. You've got 100 streams where he's done this with random women online that never complained. It's just that he's done it to so many women that several of them have complained, leading to Katie doing what she did, which was, of course, typing it into the side chat. He's made me uncomfortable many times. We asked him to stop and he would, and all that stuff that led to now. So, I mean, it's just the normal process of life. Anytime somebody does something that will cause them to lose people's money or attention or whatever it is, if that's what they desire, if that's what they're after, and that event happens that causes them to lose it, you'll see them go down this disgusting path to where we are now. I predicted it. So I invite everybody to go back to January of 2020. Listen to my scopes. They're still there. You just have to scroll back or search back to it. Listen to my streams about the issue involving Katie and Steve. You will very easily and quickly find me predicting what is going to happen in a few years. Do you remember any of what I said, Navy? I know it's been a while. Hi, Bubba.
Oh, about what you predicted on, like, Steve and all that kind of stuff?
Steve and Katie, harassment campaign, all that.
Well, number one, that he wouldn't stop, because he's done this before. There was someone, I can't remember who it was, recently put out one of his tweets where he was like, I'm done with her. I'm not talking about her anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. This is like from like 2019.
2020,
And we just like sit
2019,
back and
2021, 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, I predicted.
He says it all the time.
I predicted that his thing with Katie, because it started with sexual harassment, would follow the exact same type of harassment campaign that other SH issues follow. He will eventually be attacking her for years down the line. He'll gaslight and lie and warp out everything. He'll be the victim. Katie will be the perpetrator. Darvo. These are all predictions I've made going into when this all was revealed, that he actually, because he didn't tell us, we had no clue that he had been saying all these sexual things to women while on non-sec. We had no clue that the women were uncomfortable and going to Kyle and saying, I can't do this anymore. I won't go on with Steve. But Steve has admitted that women have stated that about him many times from non-sec and after. We had no clue that he actually was kicked off of non-sec because of his own choices. We had no clue that he went to Kyle and said, I'm not going to sign a contract with you. I'm just going to come hang out on streams, but then changed his story later. We had no clue that it was this way. We're all like from that community because at one point, the majority of us, not all of us, but the majority all defended Steve because he lied so much, because he came to us begging for help. He came to me begging for help. He's admitted this. So essentially, it doesn't matter if you engage with him because of your own choice or because he came knocking on your digital door begging you to. Doesn't matter if you end up getting invited to their show of non-sec and you complain about the sexual gross shit he says, and then he turns around and comes at you for years. He is the fucking victim. He's the one who will always do this. And I just think it's great. I love it. I love it, Navy. I love it when this all happens. I love it when someone like Trio does what he does, who becomes this hypocritical little mobster with no evidence, just screaming, trust me, bro, every time anyone's fucking, any of his old friends go, bro, why are you doing this? Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. I love that Steve is sitting there still obsessing over Katie and attacking me and attacking you and attacking Menace and everyone else. I love the fact that you've got, what is the other part of our title? I love the fact that Molly is out there trying to frame the last 3 weeks of my streams as being mean to all of them, hating all of them, inappropriately judging them, inappropriately reacting to their stuff. I love that they're doing that because of one reason. I have all of the proof streamed on my channels to tell you what the truth is so that you don't have to trust me. You don't have to trust them. You want to know what happened with Molly? All you got to do is go fucking look and see that Molly, what I said about her for those 3 weeks, and then listen to how she describes what I did. She lied. She's lying about me. That's when you lose. You lose when you start lying. It's when you lose people. That's when it's hard to steal subs, when you're lying your ass off. So you look at Steve, all my streams are there. All my videos are there. From the very beginning, all of my criticism, all of the proof, all of the evidence, all the way up to now. For anyone who will actually, and I'll go into it in a second. And with Trio, it's the same thing. You just have to look at where we were gaming and we were streaming and he would go live and I would sit and tell everybody, hey, go sub to him, go jump in there, go over there. And here you can scroll his Twitter and you can scroll my Twitter and you can see the truth. And the reason why I love that it's all there is because of this reason, is what I'm leading to, and then I'm going to end this. And it's because I don't want to get into this subscriber base where people follow me who just want to, who are insane, I mean, everyone should be saying that on YouTube. If you're insane, we shouldn't want you as a subscriber base. If you believe in a fairy tale, if you won't connect to reality, if you won't prove what you're saying or argue what you're saying or be able to fact check yourself, that's an extremely small group of people, but they are the loudest because they're insane. They are disconnected from reality. They get scared. They get backed into corners. They have cognitive dissonance anytime you try to talk to them because the fantasy world they live in starts to crumble and they have emotional and panic reactions to try to maintain their fantasy world. So it's healthy for our communities to shed people who can't take the time. If you're going to judge someone else and you don't take the time to fact check it, what does that make you? What does it make you? Isn't that the literal definition of a fucking shitty person? Isn't that the kind of person nobody wants to be friends with, nobody wants in their family, nobody wants to be around? Well, I'll tell you why. Because power corrupts, and judging people is a very atrocious power. Now, you're fine to judge people on the facts and on reality because reality checks you. Therefore, you don't experience any of the corrupting power of judging people. But when you do it based on your whims, your feelings, and your emotions, you end up curbing and shaping reality to fit the emotional judgment you want to make. You will lie, you will not fact check in order to maintain a narrative. You will bullshit people so that you can make the judgment you want to make. That's the corrupting power of judgment. One of the most powerful powers that human beings have ever had in their arsenal, in their mental capacity. Factual. And in every one of these scenarios, they're all fucking too scared to debate me. They're terrified. They run from the chance. I gave Trio a month to come sit down and talk to me because he said he had an issue. Never took it. I went to the debate channels to debate Steve. I went to Molly's face and Justin's face, treated them the way I told everybody I would treat them, was honest with them, and made sure we were going to sit down and talk and see the evidence at the end of the stream before I left. Got me? All three of those people lied. All of them dipped. They dodged. They ran. They tucked tail. They showed their true colors. And it's because they're living in a false-ass reality and they don't want it shattered. They don't want that to happen. It's not me. It's any of you. That's why all of you end up becoming the enemy at once. If it was me, they would all still be friends with you. That's just another part of their narrative, another part of their lie. It's anyone who holds the opinions that I hold. Anyone that follows the facts. Anyone that says, hey now, you won't carry me into your lie. I am better than that. I will not allow you to sit here and do that to me. You can go do it on your own time. You can obsess about me as long as you want. That's your choice. You're free. I'll be your idol, I guess, in your mind. But the point is, they've got the chance. They've had the chance a million times over to own the evil Unirock. Now, all of these same people, if any of them actually put up a video where they pull what I've said, show what I say, like Down the Rabbit Hole did, and respond and prove what they're saying and actually attempt to have the dialogue with me. Hell no. And I'll be nice enough, I'll offer Down the Rabbit Hole a stream. If they want to have me on, they want to come on my stream, they want to sit down and do a Twitter space. They're a creator. They're a creator with like 10K subs, right, Navy? I mean, they have subs. They have some subs, right?
I'm not 100% sure.
Well, either way, I'll still offer it to them. The people that did the video you're talking about, I'll offer it to them. I don't care about their sub number. I was going to make the point that I'm offering that to them because if they do have a sub base, it's a healthy thing for channels to end up connecting and talking. and discussing things. And like I always said,
yeah, about 10K. Yeah. 10K.
Okay. Either way, I just think if they do have, some subs there, they'll most likely want to sit down and chat, or if they can. I'm not saying them not doing it would mean anything. They put up a video with their criticisms toward me. I applaud and appreciate that, and will respond to it. So whether if I can't hit it on an upload, if I get too busy, I'll just go live and do it and get it knocked out. So, but I think we hit everything. I don't know. I think we did.
Yeah, I think you did. I think you knocked everything out. Yeah.
I mean, do we need to bring up like Hi Guy or Estella? Do we need to give any of these people any attention? No? Okay. Too irrelevant? Is that what it is? Oh, okay. Just making sure, I just want people to know I'm not making up the decision. I let the community make up the decision who's irrelevant or not. Okay, they're too irrelevant. Okay. We'll be back.